Forget the Hyundai Ioniq 5N, the MG Cyberster, the Toyota BZ4X. This might be the most important new electric car to come to Australia in 2024. It's called the Kia EV5. It's a mid-size electric SUV, take on the Tesla Model Y, and it's a similar size to a Kia Sportage petrol SUV. Now you're probably thinking, doesn't Kia already have one of those, the EV6? The difference here is this car will be priced from about $60,000 before on-road costs. 13 grand cheaper than an EV6 and about 5 grand cheaper than a Tesla Model Y, Australia's top selling electric vehicle. Is it worth the wait? Let me show you why. The Kia EV5 is the fourth electric car in Kia Australia's showrooms, joining the current EV6, EV9 and Niro. Prices and technical details are yet to be finalised, but Kia has confirmed there'll be three model grades, Air, Earth and GT line, offered with a 64 kWh or 88 kWh battery pack, both produced by Chinese car giant BYD. The entry-level model with front-wheel drive and the smaller battery is expected to be priced from about $60,000 to $65,000 before on-road costs, undercutting the Tesla Model Y, while the top-of-the-range version is expected to cost more than $70,000. The EV5 will be the first Kia sold in Australia that is built in China, where it also has been developed. Kia Australia promises it will drive and feel no different to any other model in the company's showrooms, and its suspension and safety systems will be tuned for Australian roads by the same team that adapts other petrol and electric Kia cars for local conditions. The headline stats are up to 530 kilometres of estimated driving range in European testing, or up to 720 kilometres in more lenient Chinese testing, plus either one electric motor on the front axle, developing 160 kilowatts, or two motors, one on each axle, for 230 kilowatts combined. The EV5 is not based on the same eGMP electric car platform as the EV6 and EV9, rather a new, cheaper platform called N3EK, which runs at 400 volts, not 800, can't charge as quickly, and is front-wheel drive based, not rear-wheel drive based. Kia thinks it can sell 10,000 examples of the EV5 in Australia every year, which will put it in the running to be Australia's third best-selling electric car and the top seller without a Tesla badge. In other words, every month, Kia thinks it can sell about 850 EV5s, which is as many EV6s as it sells in half a year. To put the dimensions of the EV5 into some context, it's about the same size as a Kia Sportage petrol SUV. It's a little bit shorter, bumper to bumper, but it's around the same overall. Compared to an EV6, the company's existing Tesla Model Y rival, crucially, it's 170mm taller, which means more interior space in terms of headroom, but it's 150mm shorter bumper to bumper, which means smaller footprint on the road, but more space inside for passengers and cargo. Let's go have a look. First things first, you can see I'm not on the right side of the car. That's because this car is a pre-production vehicle flown from overseas for display in Australia. There's a lot of commonality here between this and the Kia EV9, the company's flagship $100,000 fully electric SUV. Now that's not a bad thing. That car is our Drive Car of the Year for 2024. That means you get two 12.3-inch screens for infotainment as well as instruments, plus a small 5-inch screen in between them for some of your extra climate controls, like recirculating air and those kind of things. Now fortunately, Kia has resisted the temptation to move to put all their climate controls in the touchscreen. You do get physical dials, or physical switches I should say, for fan speed and temperature, which is really nice to see and just makes it a bit easier to use while on the road. Now this infotainment screen runs Kia's latest infotainment system, and you get these little shortcut buttons down here for visiting various functions on the screen. It's all pretty easy to use, and the screen itself looks contemporary and quite modern. Other things in here, you've got the gear shifter that's on a stalk on the steering column. It does take a bit of time to get used to initially, but you do get used to it the more you live with the car. Between me, you can see what looks like a sort of bench seat, I guess, is the way you describe it. It's not actually a seating position. You do get this center armrest here instead, but Kia calls it a covered center console. I think it's an interesting little design touch, and it means you've got a bit more leather, and in this brown leather option continues between the seats. It's an interesting little touch and an interesting design feature as well. On the dash, you've got some different materials, a lot of very plasticky surfaces, but that's okay. This car is built down to try and hit that $60,000 price point. But overall, it's a really, really nice place to sit. There's a lot of common features here with other Kia and Hyundai as well, electric cars. And yeah, not much to complain about. We're really, really happy with the interior of this car. Let's check out the back seats. So the first thing you notice back here is just how much space there is. I'm 6'1". This seat is set up where I drive. As you can see, you've got great knee room, really good toe room, and also great headroom as well underneath this glass roof. Some cool things to note back here. Number one, this fold-down tray table on the back of the front passenger seat. In Aussie models, this will be here in front of me. Something you never really see at all at this price in an electric car, or any car for that matter, below 100 grand, before you get into super luxury stuff from German or British brands. Other things back here, air vents on the pillars. We've also got a cool, nifty little fold-out drawer in the back of the front center console that can be heated and ventilated on certain models. Of course, the floor is completely flat because you have a battery underneath and no transmission or exhaust or anything to run under the floor. Under thigh support in these seats is actually pretty good. That's a common thing we'd point out electric cars. It's not as good because the battery underneath means you push the floor up a little bit higher and you can often sit perched on the seat like this, but Kia has done a really, really good job here. Other things, you've got 2 USB-C ports, map pockets, some small bottle holders in the doors, as well as a fold-down center armrest with 2 cup holders. Let's check out the boot. In the boot of the EV5, and you can see it's a pretty large space. It's rectangular too, so it's easy to load with stuff. Now the biggest thing here is this pop-up picnic table from the bottom. Now Kia calls it a picnic table, but what I think it's most useful for is putting a laptop, because on the side you've got a little vehicle to load plug that you can plug in your computer and run it and power it off the car's battery. Pretty cool feature that's increasingly common on electric cars, but it's something that Hyundai and Kia do really well. So there you have it, the Kia EV5. If Kia can deliver on its promised $60,000 price tag, with a good level of equipment, that interior space and decent driving range as well, I see no reason why this can't be one of Australia's top-selling electric cars this year and beyond. If you enjoyed this video, please click like to stay up to date with all of our latest videos, hit subscribe and that little notification bell, and of course, for everything you need to know on the Kia EV5 and every other electric car on sale in Australia, head over to Drive.com.au with a link in the description.